Welcome back, Paul Gregg here from Learn Guitar Cafe. In this video we're going to look at using a capo and what a capo is used for. It's one of these things here. You often see them, guitarists clipping them on to their guitars like so. One of the important things to remember about using a capo is it changes the pitch of the strings. It's almost like it's a nut, which is this thing here, which moves up the neck. We're pushing this up the neck via using this capo device. Now, as you know already, the strings are tuned E, A, D, G, B, E, the open strings. But when we place the capo on the first fret or the second fret, these notes are going to change. They're going to go up. So if I put the capo on the first fret, those open strings are going to go up a semitone. So that E string now becomes F. The A string now becomes a B flat or an A sharp. The D string now becomes a D sharp or an E flat. The G string becomes the note G sharp or A flat. B string becomes C, and the first E string becomes F sharp. So the pitch has changed. And likewise for the second fret, the same thing would happen. The strings would go up a tone. So I'm going to leave the capo on the second fret for this example, and I'm going to take 5 open chords, and they are C, A, G, E, and D. And they're the 5 open chords we're going to use in this video when we use the capo. So if I put the capo on the second fret, the notes, the open strings have gone up a tone. So it also means that the first fret position is now there, which is the third fret without the capo. Okay? And that is the second fret, and that is the third fret. So when I go to play my C chord, I've just got to treat it like I'm playing it down here, but up here. And of course the third finger goes on the third fret, and that would be the C chord there. But it's actually not called C, technically. If you're playing with another guitarist who hasn't got a capo, or a piano player, and you want to tell them the correct chord name, it would actually be D. So to understand that, you've got to know the musical alphabet and know how the notes travel up the fretboard. So if that's A, that's A sharp, that's B. I'll put the capo back on there. That note would be C, that note would be C sharp, and that note would be D, which would give us the name of the chord. So that C shape has formed the chord D, right? And we just apply the same principle for any chord, open chord that we're going to play here. So just keeping in mind, we've gone up a tone with the capo, 2 frets, so we're going to go up a tone with the chords. So C went up to a D, A is going to go up, you'd play an A chord like that. That would now be called B. G would now be called A. E would now be called F sharp. And the last chord D, going up a tone, because that one starts on the D string, that would be called an E chord. Okay, so it just works in that way. If I take it up another fret, that's the first fret now, that's the second fret, that's the third fret. So that chord there would be D sharp. And so what do people use capos for? Well, singer-songwriters usually use them. They're playing a song down here and they discover that it's too low, so they just want to take it up. Rather than change the chords that they've actually been playing, they just plonk the capo on and away you go. But it's important, I think, to understand what the chords are actually called, so you can communicate with other musicians. Alright, now the other really important thing about using a capo, a lot of people miss this, is that you've got to get it situated as close to the fret as possible without being, on top of it, but just behind it. I don't know if you can see that there. The capo's just sitting just behind the fret. And the other important thing to remember is that a lot of the time you are going to have to retune the guitar with the capo on, because these open strings are no longer E, A, D, G, B, E. So this one is an F sharp. So if you've got a chromatic tuner, you'll be seeing the note or close to F sharp, and you'll have to adjust the tuning of that accordingly. Likewise, that's a B. You'll have to be looking for a B, E, A, C sharp, and F sharp. And it's important that you make sure those notes, open strings, are in tune, so when you go to play your open chords, the chords will be in tune. Okay, now of course when you take the capo off, you're going to have to adjust the tuning again because you've had the capo on. So that's just, part and parcel life of using a capo. So another quick example, Brown Eyed Girl, we know has the song, the chords, I'll do it with the capo off, G, C, D, and E minor. Okay, the singer comes in, says, look, it's a bit low, can we take it up? Alright, let's start taking it up a tone. So G now becomes A, D becomes E, C becomes D, and the chord E minor becomes F sharp minor. Some people actually find open chords easier to play, and that's probably because as the capo goes further up the neck, the frets get closer together, the strings get lower, you're applying less pressure when you play chords. But yeah, it's worth experimenting with capos. They're good fun to use, and I find them especially useful when you're recording. Okay, so that's it for that video. If you've got any questions, just give us a shout, and I'll see you in the next video.